Hello everyone, welcome you all to Believers IAS Academy, and today's topic of discussion is the Tesla opening its first ever showrooms in India. Of course, it's a very good news for almost all the car enthusiasts that a long wait has finally come to an end, that Tesla is right now offering its Model Y segment of its Tesla cars. And of course, this is the very first time that Tesla has opened its showroom in Mumbai. So now, as an aspirant, is this important? No. So in the first place, we have to try and understand that this is a part of the EV ecosystem. This is a part of the EV ecosystem of the country, the EV market. And since we will be discussing about the EV ecosystem, we should also know as to what is the present status of the EV market in India. And in this today's particular video, we will discuss about all the challenges that are hindering the growth of the EV market. And also in this particular video, we will discuss all the government schemes that the government is trying to bring out in order to enhance or give a push to the EV sector in India. So first off, we'll have to understand what is the present scenario. So according to one of the reports by Federation of Automobile Dealers Association, FADA, it states that in month of June 2025, India's EV vehicle sales shot up by 28%, which is an increase. And if you see the overall increase in the in terms of the sales, it is far less than major countries like China, where it is above 50%. But of course, Indian EV market is witnessing an increase in the sales. And this market is projected to grow from 34.8 billion in 2024 to almost a whopping $120 billion by 2030. So this, of course, is very important. Why? Because already in the in the country, we can see people transitioning from the normal vehicles to the electronic vehicles, and that way we can also observe that more number of electric two-wheelers have made up to the public. So it is absolutely right, because 60% of the present EV market in India is completely filled with the two-wheelers. Of course, government is trying a lot to push more vehicles, like in terms of e-buses, or let's say other sort of four-wheelers for that matter. So in this following particular video, we will discuss about all of that. So meanwhile, we should also keep in mind that there is a target also. So the government of India has set targets by 2030 that 80% of EV adoption must be seen in the two and three-wheelers, and also 40% in the buses. It could be the local, the public transport, and also the private transport, and also 30% in the private cars by 2030. So now the targets are very ambitious. Now, is the ecosystem conducive? Let's see. Now, talking about the challenges or the ecosystem being conducive or not, the most first hurdle that anybody faces in transitioning to an EV vehicle is its upfront cost, which is very high. For example, any car, let's say Tata Nexon, which costs about 10 to 12 lakhs on road for a normal petrol or a diesel variant, absolutely costs 15 lakh plus for the EV variant. So the setting up cost is absolutely very high, which actually is a problem where the normal man or the normal citizen cannot easily transit. And then obviously the charging infrastructure. So according to the global standards, for every 6 to 7 EVs, the general average is one charging station. But in India, it's almost like we have one charging stations for 300 plus EVs, which is completely distorted. So talking about the ambition, I think another biggest ambition is to also increase the infrastructure, especially as the charging infrastructure is concerned. And third, most importantly, is the dependence on the imported batteries. As India, we do have to bring in more reforms to start the indigenous production of the batteries, the lithium-ion batteries that they use. So of course, these are the major challenges that is kind of making it difficult for a normal citizen, or let's say India as a country, to transit to the electronic vehicles. Now, what has the government done? Government has come up with so many schemes, so many push. So the very first one is the FAME 2. So under this, in order to accelerate the adoption of electric vehicles in India, government came up with incentives, even subsidies for both manufacturers and also the consumers. Of course, FAME 2 has currently ended, and there's no guarantee that the government will come up with the phase 3. And however, the government after this, they also implemented the famous PM e-drive scheme. So this was complementary to FAME 2, in fact. So here, what happens is, the government is providing impetus to green mobility and the development of EV ecosystem in India. And as a part of this, government has already set aside 2,000 crores to develop the charging infrastructure in order to make sure that the EV ecosystem is conducive. Third up is the e-vehicle policy, where it promotes India as a manufacturing destination for electric vehicles, where the foreign investor, whosoever wants to open a manufacturing unit in India, has to come in with a minimum investment of 4,150 crore alone, and there is no upper cap for the maximum investment. However, this initiative by the government is to limit the imports of EVs at a lower customs duty for the manufacturers. So usually what happens is that the government, if it wants to allow any foreign manufacturer to India, it would basically want the foreign manufacturer to open a manufacturing unit rather than simply opening a showroom and then importing the vehicles and then selling it here. I think the same thing happened even with Tesla as well. So Elon Musk is currently having a discussion with the Indian government to reduce the import duties even less. But the Indian government's only argument is for opening a manufacturing unit of Tesla in India. But obviously Elon Musk, though he definitely would have thought that once he'll see the sales, he'll see how the market is, then he'll open a manufacturing unit. So right now, the cars, especially the Tesla, it is being imported from Shanghai, from the manufacturing unit that is there in China. So from there, they are importing it, and here they are like currently just selling it. So India's utmost move is to ensure that any foreign manufacturer opens a manufacturing unit here, so that it helps the local economy, the Indian economy, because it creates more opportunities, job creation, and all of that. And also at the end, we also have domestic manufacturing schemes, which also kind of pushes for implementing schemes related to manufacturing of batteries domestically. And this is only to reduce the dependence on the imported batteries and lowering the EV cost. And of course, we also have one web portal as well, eAmrit. So this is launched by the Niti Aayog. It was created by the Niti Aayog along with the UK government, and basically it helps the easy migration of electric vehicles. So this is the portal where you get all the information about the EV infrastructure, about the charging units, the places, and all the details regarding the EV sector. Okay, and of course, not just this, government is even reduced the GST for the EV vehicles, and in fact, government is still coming up with a lot of interesting initiatives to make sure that people find it easy to transit to the electronic vehicles, just to ensure that India achieves the target that it has created by 2030. So now that we have understood all the challenges, the government schemes, last thing but not the least, it is the responsibility of India to invest on the developing domestic battery production, because right now India is importing more than 90% of its battery requirement and that alone is a problematic thing. So also, in connection to that, it can even leverage the National Critical Mineral Mission to enhance the domestic lithium battery production. Also, innovative financing models can be introduced, like increasing the number of green bonds, and also by issuing more loans with low interest rates, so that the international players can collaborate, to bring about the changes, or let's say to even invest and open a manufacturing unit here. So well, that's all for today's video. And for more such information, for more such informative content, please subscribe to Believers IAS Academy and stay tuned. Thank you.